My goodness, did I sleep good last night. First of all, it got super cold right after sunset. The temperatures dropped really quickly. It's really kind of odd because the night before it was at similar elevation and it wasn't the case. But anyways, quickly after sunset, I set up my cowboy camp and I got tucked into my quilt because it got cold. I ended up pretty much bivvying in my quilt all night. I cinched up both ends and stayed pretty toasty, but I laid down around 9 o'clock and I only woke up once to some elk. I didn't care to look at the time, but I heard them tromping around and I could hear their bleeding or bugling, whatever they're doing. And then I didn't wake up until 5:40. So I had a later morning than usual, but I will take it because I slept so good. So I'm coming to my first water source, and I have a pet peeve, which I wish more hikers would respect. That's don't camp near livestock water sources. Also, it makes it awkward for us to walk into your camp and get water in the morning. I just stopped to take off some layers and look over where I came from, thinking I might see Forgetful. That's the guy who was at the water source this morning, and saw this. I can only imagine how much bigger it is the closer you are, because I'm guessing it's like 100 miles away. Cold Stretch, my favorite for lunch today. It's a chicken ramen with a spicy Thai chili tuna packet. Pretty excited about that after 16.5 miles. Also excited to have my shoes off. Got my water filtered, and I'm just gonna enjoy a nice lunch break right here. Okay, so I think I need to clarify something from this morning about that water source and meeting Forgetful. He's a really nice guy from New Zealand. It's a pet peeve of mine that people camp right next to water sources, not only for the animals, but also for hikers, because it just makes it really awkward to just kind of roam through their camp in the morning. If they're asleep or if they're up doing things, it's just a little awkward. And we talked about it, and he said he was just so excited to have a wet camp, which I get. But I just said, you could still have a wet camp and be a respectful distance from the water for animals and hikers. So that's just my 2 cents. And I also forgot to mention yesterday, news broke in the afternoon when I was at Ghost Ranch from the CDT that they're closing Santa Fe Forest and El Malpai. So that's around just after Pie Town, or just before Pie Town. No, after, somewhere around there. And then Santa Fe is all the forest I just went through to get to or after Cuba. So that means a lot of people are going to be trying to change their plans with flipping or skipping because they are not going to be able to finish those miles, unfortunately, which breaks my heart. But I think that's just the year that we are being dealt. So I'm going to finish out my miles because I'm in Carson National Forest, where there's just fire restrictions. So I'm in the clear. I have about when I finish today, I'll have about 50 miles to the border. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm not gonna pronounce this lake because I'm gonna butcher it. So I'll spell it in the caption. This place just got wrecked. You can see, oh God, yeah. I mean, look at the fire now. But look at all these picnic, like benches and fire pits, and there's picnic tables, and it's just been devastated. Something really ripped through this place. More of the snow. This is just past the lake. Nothing crazy. Very stable. Not a lot of post holing. All the climbing is done for the day. Woo woo. I topped out at just under 10.6 for elevation, and I have about just over 6 miles to my intended camp spot, Rio Vallecites. Might be butchering that, but again, I'll put it in the comments. My heart hurts. I made it, but I gotta cross first. So this is how this is gonna go. Doesn't seem too bad. Oh. Ain't nothing. I'm filtering water at the river before I go find camp. And it pains me to say, mosquitoes are out. Mosquitoes are here. Got me a nice little spot, riverside. This should be a nice relaxing night, listening to the water. I also took off my shoes and socks and went and polar plunged in the melt. So the hot dogs are drying off. Check out that sock tan though. Woo-hoo.